Okay, as I said before, Antons, Jānis, could you please share a bit about yourselves, your backgrounds, and the company or organization that you run or that you work with?
Who start? I think I can start. Okay. Hi, my name is Jānis Orlovs. I run small DevOps shop, CWISE. I'm somewhere as contractor and consulting in the middle. It's been in the business since 2018. We are 6 or 7 people. I don't remember anymore. We are mostly focusing on DevOps part. Because my background is I have been working in many financial services product companies, and and that was like logical thing for me to come here where I am. Yep.
Okay, thanks, Jānis. Anton?
My name is Antons. I started a web design company back in 2003 in Latvia, and then we started to focus on e-commerce around 2009 and pick up the very trendy technology platform, and that allowed us to grow now to 490 something, almost 500 people. We do not provide say staff augmentation, so we provide solutions for e-commerce, for generally complex e-commerce challenges. Work with full service, so it's about 60-70% is technology. Then we do data and analytics, UI, user experience, customer experience, and envelopes, all of this, and any technology and infrastructural needs, but with a focus on e-commerce. We also innovate. We release open source front ends for e-commerce on React, used by Puma, now by Adidas, by Levi's, and generally we are from Latvia. Yet now we employ people in 30 countries in the world. We have offices in some of the countries. In some countries we just work in online office, and that's in short.
Well, we'll dig into this is short and try to make this longer as well. I think I could start with Antons. I wanted to ask all of you to share a bit of the background of how you started this. I know that Jānis and Antons also, you touched a bit on what was the beginning of it, but my question would be, how did you come to decide on the business model, and the scale of which you're going for the company that you work for? And I think we could start with Antons, as he has the kind of like longer running business and the larger one, then go to Jānis, and then Andrey as the solo entrepreneur, as it's called, and share your story a bit in the road.
Well, just before joining this Dev Club, I checked previous Dev Club videos of Chili Labs and Test Dev Labs, because they're quite similar to what we are doing. So I was very keen to see their story. And I remember a slide of Test Dev Lab. They told us they never had a business plan or business model, and they marked it with asterisks, telling that we still do not have it. I myself, because people were always asking, what is our strategy, what we do next? Like, I understand, it's very understandable. It's very hard to not have a goal and have a plan. And on our general meeting, I was showing an empty slide. So our strategy is there. We don't have one. We are very opportunistic. So we see an opportunity, we reshape, and we go there. So, post-pandemic was great opportunity. Everybody needed more IT resources, and we figured out how to scale up and to grow like 60% in a year in terms of revenue in a team. Now there is a great resignation, right? People want to work 3 days a week or less, or be solopreneurs, or freelancers. And that's cool. That's an opportunity. because companies still need agencies to deliver, and we as agency who can provide them resources, because again, we figured out how to hire, how to train, how to integrate. So no plan. Yeah, well, was they very technical and boring, like account management, strategic roadmap for the customer, making sure that we can improve the whole customer experience across all touch points. So we actually ordering their products, trying to make return merchandise authorization to experience pain points and figure out how to fix them, suggest. In short, no plan, just be present, be alive, feel the pain, react, think, change your assumptions.
Okay, thanks, Anton. Jānis, do you want to share your part?
Like, no, this, like, I would say that the story is the same. Of course, scale is much smaller and the timeline is much more shorter, but like same experiences. Like at one point I understood that I'm having fun doing the things what I'm doing as professional, as consultant, contractor. You can make much more money doing the same in a little bit different way, and packaging your time and disconnecting your income from your time. So I thought it was win-win. There was not like I didn't saw the downside. I saw only upside, as maybe I also had this plan B approach, what like Andrey said about that. Maybe it was sometimes, but yeah, I didn't saw the downsides on that. So thanks to, I think everybody have got some kind of like mentors or peers who have brought in. For me also there are like, and that's like, and I think the main thing is like I'm still having fun doing that.
Is there anything specific that allowed you to finally make that step to go and build something that is yours? Is there that mentor, for example, or kind of like that final push that was like, okay, this is time? Yeah.
It's like I thought like it, and the time was right. Like, and I think everybody from here have got the time was right to do it. Like.
Okay, thank you, Andrey. Can you share? I know you've shared a lot. Can you share a bit again as well, maybe about how you started, and could be the same question as well as I just asked Jānis. Maybe there was something specific that kind of made that step for you and was like, okay, so now I'm going on my own.
Yeah, well, for me, it's quite often was boredom. I mean, because I find the previous things I was doing very boring, and I was searching for something new, something different, and try something else. And sometimes, especially when I went to, let's say, Denmark, from Latvian company to Danish company, that was really a leap of faith, because we didn't know what's waiting us in Denmark. We didn't know will it be successful or not, and it was really a leap of faith. And the initial investment was actually quite big. To have to make find a flat and stuff like that, and start living in a different country. It was a bit of a problem initially, but eventually, yeah, it was a good decision. And quite often it was luck. Actually, I was meeting good people, meeting interesting clients, and it just worked out somehow. I don't know.
Luck is a good thing to mention. Sometimes it's the people that you meet that are just there in the right time, where you feel like, okay, this is the right place to create this contact. Okay, thanks. Now moving on to a bit of maybe a negative side. I wanted to ask about the drawbacks or maybe the negative sides that you felt like throughout this time that you've run your own businesses. What are the negative sides? What are the drawbacks? Maybe with the specific business models and business sizes, because you all three have completely different ones. And I would also invite you to think about this question from a personal perspective as well. I know that, for example, for bigger businesses, you need to think about your employees more. So there's more responsibility. Well, for solo entrepreneurs, it's just you, which is nice because it's only your part. But at the same time, maybe it gets lonely because you don't have anyone to bounce back your ideas. So can you please comment on the business side of the drawbacks, but also maybe the personal one as well? Anton, do you want to go first?
So we just continue the same way. So Jānis, Jānis, then me.
Okay. Okay. I don't remember who said either it was Friedman or Sowell, but they said the quote was the capitalism is not gains. It's not gains system. It's also losses system. So when you run your own your own ventures, who is paying for your mistakes is you, in some or another way. And the drawbacks is you have to keep your pipeline. You have to keep your enough balance. You cannot run out of the money. There is no employer who will pick up the tab. So that's and of course you are responsible for your I don't think that responsibility is bad thing that you have got your responsibility. You are not even you are solo. You are responsible to your family. You are responsible to your peers, and that's I don't think the responsibility is the bad thing. It's way how to motivate. But yeah, you don't have the bad thing. In many cases you don't have good opportunity to. You don't have in most cases you don't have these options to bounce back ideas. Will it work? Will it not work? So that the reality check, let's say, is that you're sometimes missing for feedback.
Okay, thanks. Is there also, Jan, is there anything specific that you feel like is a drawback for your size of team that, for example, larger teams don't have, or one person, two people teams don't have?
The main drawback is that you don't fit anymore in the really small contracts, and you don't fit into big contracts. You are some you have to do something in the middle, and because one man gig for 1 month is a little bit different for the sizing is always a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks. That's very useful. Yeah, Anton?
I was just looking up because I remembered when you asked that once I made the list of pain points of being owner. Couldn't find it.
Want to see it.
I couldn't, but I remember that I was I couldn't find it, but I remember a keyword, crying, and I found it by it was just in notes so I put cry and I found it. But I can just read what I got here.
Okay.
So first thing is of course people, because when you have a large team, every month somebody is leaving, and it's it always I have a heartbeat seeing some resignation letter kills your day. But I would say we have maybe 5 to 10 people maximum maybe leaving us every month. So it's something that there were times in 5 years one senior guy would leave us, but now it is just a normal thing. We are hiring maybe 20-30 people per month, and after 2-3 years, people want another technology and so on. So yeah, but yeah, people leaving is a pain.
Yeah.
And another thing is you are consciously always at work, and sometimes you have this internal project manager that tells you, work, what are you doing? Work. Think about this. There are so many opportunities. Why don't you redesign your page? Or why wouldn't you do this? Why wouldn't you that? So but it's manageable. I mean, but it's an issue. Yeah, there is of course an effect on significant others. On say, I mean, I spend a lot of time at home with kids and with wife, but still, especially if a business is global, like we have some customers in California, in New York, in China, some. So you are. There is no time in a family that is considered like a no work time. Any time can be work, even whatever. Any evening, Sunday evening, wedding anniversary can be work. So it's not a problem for me, but a problem for others, and later for me. Like I like to work, but later it fires back. And just yesterday I had a mentee from Stockholm School of Economics just participating there as a program as one thing. That was like explaining is a 360-degree responsibility. So if some like you have to look into, like I personally at least look into the types of coffee our baristas are serving to the people, or office decoration, or source code editors we are using, or Linux versus Ubuntu, or do we use remote desktops in AWS, or we still use normal desktop hardware, not talking about strategy or some HR cases, or sexual harassment policy, or figuring out how to keep ourselves well and sane in online office, how to engage people online, how to make them distress. We ran a lot of online activities, from online yoga, sports, planking, to interviews of some famous IT people or porn stars, or just some extraordinary people like a guy from Latvia without hands, who is actually playing Counter-Strikes with headshots, and like amazing guy, runs his business, has a kid, has a family, has a business, amazing guy without hands. So and like you always need to think. I will just check if I have something else funny or interesting. There is also interesting things that usually once in a month you would get an offer to sell your company from usually, well, either from some large IT business, or some like intermediary, some agency, like an investment company or something. And sometimes, and I mean, it's pleasant, of course. It's just like for a usual person to receive another job offer where they tell, oh, you're so valuable, we pay you 5K, 10K more. But it's also like sometimes it's hard, and you go, why we don't sell? I mean, because we generally don't engage in conversations about sales. Yet
that's what I want to ask. Have you ever been tempted to do it?
Yeah, but it, like, no, we didn't engage yet, but we have a longer term plan, because we are currently, say, around 20 million annually. So in a few years we can go to a stock exchange, not even on Baltic one, but on the regional ones in Scandinavia. But it always like puts you right in the spot, like, so you can cash out now. 20 million, they will give you 30. why are you still sitting here? You can like buy. I just don't know what I can really buy for 30-40 millions.
But what you're gonna do?
Yeah. It's big plan. I mean, I don't have a plan. That's why I don't know how to. I mean, you can you can make other people rich. That's also a pleasant thing. But then it's like a moment of truth for me and other co-founders. So we really understand. We really like it, or we just, or we also admit. I personally admit I'm workaholic. Or we are. We just don't know what
It's
to
a
do
common
next.
theme.
Yeah. So if
sorry.
we stop using this drug, what next? How painful it would be. I once was stuck in. I went with friends to Italy to kite surf, and it was nice. And wind stopped, and on the third day of doing nothing, I felt such a pressure. I went for 2 weeks almost, and I like wife. It was first time I went away alone without kids and family. I bought a ticket, came back, came back to Riga. A friend stayed there in Italy, and I was like, "Oh, finally, I'm at home." So it's a quite dangerous habit, but it's. I mean, in relation to other drugs, I think it's not that bad because it doesn't like kill your brain and body. You still can do sports and be fit. It gives you some positive externalities. You can earn some money, but it's. If you don't manage it, it can be quite a bad addiction.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, apparently it does take a specific personality to always feel like this and feel like you need to push forward. You need to have that like kind of like constant going and constant energy. If it stops, you feel like you're not worth anything and everything's pointless and just like gets into your brain. So I think it's a specific type of personality that likes this. Yeah. Andrey, do you want to kind of share some drawbacks that you've noticed in your experience?
Oh, you had Jānis and Anton. You already mentioned most of them. I mean, you have to become more disciplined, and that's because you have to be responsible for your family, and if you don't earn money, then kind of nobody in your family, your kids, they have to support them somehow. So it's you're becoming more responsible, more disciplined. And I mean, it's maybe a drawback because when you're working as an employee, probably you are protected by some policies, some insurances and stuff like that. When you're working alone, you don't have that. But I mean, eventually, becoming more disciplined and having running business is something that actually makes you more calm and you stop worrying. Basically, that's from drawback it becomes a good thing. And like Anton mentioned, I guess initially when someone is leaving the company, that's a heart attack. But eventually you get used to that, and you're understanding that it's a normal flow of things. They will happen, and you just have to be ready for them, and be anti-fragile, be resilient.
Okay. Thanks to everyone. I wanted to ask another question about kind of like a competition. Each of you have started your own businesses at a certain point, and I think maybe you could share some, let's say, tips or what has worked for you that you feel like has really helped or been the key ingredients that has helped the business to move forwards and to kind of survive the competition that you have within your field. Maybe it's something in the start that helped you kick up and like start it off, or maybe that's something along the way, or maybe that's a mindset or a characteristic that you have that is, as maybe Anders says, just calm. But maybe there's some specific things. Yeah. Whoever wants to go first. Yeah,
I can go first, so others can take some time to think. I just answered this question yesterday, where I think we're entering quite heavily Belarusian market, so we scheduled some interviews. They call them stress interviews. They tell we ask you all the questions we want. It will be stress interview. The only stress was that they decided to schedule it on 14th of February, but otherwise it just plain interview. No, I was asking, maybe I can share you how we fire people or something. No. So competitive advantage. In our case, I think that what, for example, was also well noted in Chile Lab's presentation, that they told that the hardship is shaping your strengths. So in our case, we are working with a certain platform. We started in 2009. I actually started to do it in Denmark. I went there to study, and I tried to find a job, and nobody ever accepted me, neither to McDonald's or packing flowers or postman. So I had to find customers who was calling from Skype because couldn't get a SIM card because of residence. So you need to wait 1 month. Yeah. And so we pick up the platform that was very demanded, but there was no people really ready to do it. It was super complex, like super complex open source system. And it was crisis time in Latvia, 2008-9. So like 90% of web development agencies went bankrupt. So I was contacting some CTOs and like, yes, we can pay you this huge money you asked initially if you can do this. So no. Well, in the end, I found subcontractors in India, but luckily they were so bad that our guys started to overtake it slowly. But anyway, we were in conditions where there was demand, but like zero supply. So it was like 2009-10, and we figure out how we can train people. And now we do it already more than 10 years. So training, mentoring, documentation, own tools, own processes, guidelines, templates. That's our competitive advantage. So being in the situation when you had to know X and there is nobody knowing X, and there is a demand like give us more people, give us more projects, then you need to figure out how to make people know X without having such people. And once we figure it out in Latvia, of course, we now do it everywhere where people have internet connection, and demand is still increasing and increasing and increasing, and we are training people, and then upskilling them further from junior to engineer to senior to team lead, to sometimes department lead. So that's what's our kind of reason of sustainability and growth.
Okay, thanks. Hardship that makes you better. No, hard lessons. Yeah, Andrey or Jānis?
Andrey, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. For me, of course, it was, when I realized the power of my network, then, again, I stopped worrying, because that just works sometimes magically. Sometimes I get contracts from unpredictable paths. There was a guy with whom I worked in some project 3 years ago. He directs me to a client which works in a different country, and then we organize a training, organize a consulting gig, and the time I realized that being myself and being honest, being open to the customers, that's my selling point, and that's actually that works in the long term. I really stopped worrying about the income anymore.
I just can add to this both too, because when you're a small company, in many senses, they are buying more or less you, and you have to the next thing, how to grow out, is selling, training the team how to embody your values in many senses, and if you work it out, then it's pretty easy, and and you have to learn to say no to things, because you will be dragged into the many strange things, and because you're also very worried that saying no will not work in this way, or our way will not, nobody will buy, and that's so it's like it's after that some time you start understanding. Like I would say that like for me it's like and for CWISE it's like being me and being how to scale it out. Like that's the thing.
Okay, thank you. This is very useful. I'll later have a question about exactly being being the CEO of a company or the director and the impact. I wanted to ask the next question about the more positive side. So can you share what do you think, and from your experience, have been the biggest benefits for running this size and format of a business that you are running?
It's fun.
Personally and business-wise, both. Jānis, if you finished, you can maybe start.
Okay. For me, it's like as I mentioned, like as like I also have fun. Like I can do what I wanted. I can remove the things what I don't like, or like move to my either like my peers or my like I can do the part what I like, and but still do the full cycle and be in the charge of what I do and how I do the things.
Yeah, plan your own time, your own day, and work.
Anyone else? Not so much.
Yeah, but anyway, it's the same for me. You know, the biggest thing I achieved, like personally, is freedom of choosing what to do, choosing when to do that, and then how to do that, and bringing your own responsibility into the equation. It's not just you do something for someone, you do something for yourself first of all, and if it's working for you, then it may also work for your clients, for your customers, for your trainees, and that's and if you found that match, then it's great, and that works for me.
Okay, Antons, fun.
I think I would say it's probably the same for me or for a company with 5,000 people or 50,000 or for a freelancer. I mean, if it's a feature of being an owner of yourself and your, let's call it, business, right? Even if it's your work that you as a freelancer you are selling by hour, right? It's that's the same for all of us, irrespectively of the size. So that's the main highlight, and maybe it's like a freedom to work 24/7, but it's a freedom. You can work less. You can figure out how to keep your mind in balance and family in balance. So it's a lot of, and then all the interesting challenges start. So when you have freedom and responsibility of yourself, then it's a lot of challenges. And for me, this entrepreneurial path, it's I tell that you don't need to go to Tibet or some monastery. You just open a company and then work there. You will have a lot of personal challenges with yourself, with colleagues, with say co-founders, or with family. Yeah, very interesting, and there is of course a lot of a lot of satisfying moments. For example, when the largest museum in Western Hemisphere, modern museum of like Met Museum in New York, they choose us, Latvian company, to optimize their user journey. Yeah. They are not limited by money. And in New York, there are many nice agencies, but in a competition, our company wins. We are the guys who are planning a user experience for Jaguar cars, for example, or for subscription services for Walmart. So it feels good. I think it's a normal like rational egoism. So our ego gets like a yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
They have chosen us. And of course there is a people component. I mean, we're really proud of our training capabilities, and we are very open about telling our newcomers, and say the guys in Belarus were asking like, you only generally advertise for trainees and juniors. Why is this? Why is this? And yes, yes, because for us it's very fast to upskill a trainee because he is coming with an empty glass. And and we tell, yes, that's what you can get in our company. 2-3 years, you get enterprise grade experience of working. I mean, because when you work for Walmart, New York Times, Jaguar, Land Rover, BMW, Puma, you cannot work in a bad development environment. It's generally state of the art, and you learn it. We help you, and you get perfect CV. And then you become a specialist for whom headhunters will fight. You can charge whatever. But first, if we pay you minimal salary, when you come, your opportunity cost is very low, right? Because generally, large companies try to hire people with 3+ years experience. We hire you without experience. And then we also kind of share. So it's, of course, it's a business model, but it's a pleasant business model. So we see that people are, sometimes we check where they're going further, and their journeys are sometimes really really remarkable, and they kind of think back telling, yeah, guys, I mean, apart from it was my kind of student years that are good as such, but I really liked them to spend with you. And actually, just one more thing on this competitive advantage you told, that because we were forced to do it, and other companies, kind of richer companies from the US, UK, they were not really forced to do it. So they were just hiring, paying more, and hiring seniors. And now this ecosystem is drained, and the only way for them is to come to us generally, because we still can create the talent, so to speak. The ecosystem is very competitive. All talent is gone, and it's really cool if you have an engine of growing the talent, building it in a fast possible way.
Yeah, but I think many companies started to realize that in IT. Like, Accenture is having boot camps. Sapriko is also having something similar. Especially the Latvian market is dry on IT resources.
Yeah.
But from other point of view, like if you look on the consulting companies, their business model is like upskilling employees. Like Big Four is like working in only this way. BCG, McKinsey is working only way. They don't have, okay, if you want to open new business unit, you are like hiring professionals, but then you are upskilling, and unused, untapped potential is here, at least, is alumni movements. Because like if we look on the, for example, like poster child of consulting, McKinsey, they are living out of the alumni movements, and this is like where we are still here lagging behind, like how to reuse your previous, because like when like for Anton's case, if you have like this is alma mater for first professional experience, it always will be your first experience, and if you have lifted out of the junior to senior, like you will be always there, like, and
yeah.
For us, it's a little bit different because we are focusing on a particular, let's say, subset. So it's e-commerce. So we don't do just say any application or any web applications. It's all about e-commerce. So for us, this evolution path is much more easier. Say we are in touch with some companies, say in Ukraine, who do just anything. I mean, just any just software development, whatever. Desktop app, fine. Embedded software, okay. And then they are successful. They are great. But for them, it's really there is no way they can upskill a person to be ready to do what their customers are demanding. Plus, also, if you focus, specialize in something, and I mean, Big Four and Accenture, they have extremely wide range of services. If you specialize in something, then eventually you start building your own tools, right? And for example, you are DevOps guys. For us, DevOps was a bottleneck for a while. We built a platform on Kubernetes, and now we just spawn everything like development servers, staging server, pre-live, live, and it costed us some pain. But now, I mean, it took maybe 1.5 years to build it, but now already several years. We really enjoy. We scaled since then maybe like 3 times, but our DevOps department stayed the same. So it's also something that specialization can help you.
Okay, thanks. It's a good ad actually for anyone who's listening and is looking for a place to work. I think we can go to the last question because we're kind of going towards the end of this. And this question is something that actually interests me about your opinions. As the head of a business that you're running, how important do you think it is that the CEO or the director of the company goes out to public events, participates in conferences, or participates in discussions like this and shows themselves? And this is also to feeding into what Jānis, for example, said, that very often the clients are coming for you, not just for like this business. So how important do you see it that you actively participate and show yourself in public events and speak about the topics that you know and the topics that you're kind of doing a business about?
It's not important. I mean, as a speaker who did like, speeches at 60 plus events, I would say that it's not important at all. I mean, unless you're working in some sort of, business area where you sell, let's say, tools to developers, or you sell some product and you have specialized conferences around that product, then maybe it makes sense. But if you're just a business owner and you're just like many other business owners, then most likely this will not bring any extra dividends. It may, but it's not necessary absolutely at all. So it's fun to do that, but it's not necessary.
Yeah, I generally can agree. I was participating in some conferences in Europe, in Eastern Europe, but it mostly for me. Say value for me is that sometimes I need to present something, and then I start preparing, and then I figure out that after first 2 slides I'm stuck because I cannot really explain it. So it helps me to structure sometimes my thoughts, or actually learn something new to explain it better, and to explain it better to me, and to explain it better on the conference, and I can explain it better to my colleagues. So there is some kind of reframing, restructuring bonus. Another thing is, of course, just distressing, and it's kind of low at the same time. I mean, it's a low effort fun. I don't need to prepare. It's just I'm talking about myself. Easy. And of course, it's nice when you are invited to a conference. You feel, yes, all this 18 or 20, 19 years of hardship were for something. Now I am a speaker.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels good.
Yeah. Of course.
from my point of view, it's like you have to pick your own poison, what you like to do. If you enjoy, like, why not? Maybe for me not, but there is also I have some friends who said like, okay, they come to me because they found me, like it was for other business services, like they come to me because they found my blog about Latvian economical forecast, and they come and like they come from US and they wanted to open company, and they are big account for them. So it depends, but I think it's whatever it works. But it shouldn't be like painful. It shouldn't be painful like that you don't want to do it, and that's I think like thing. And yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, thanks. So fun is the main thing. It's just
Joy.
Yeah, fun, joy, and yeah, I was exactly thinking about maybe there are occasions, such as you said, the blog, where it helps, but mostly also just commenting on, and thinking about how do you divide your time and whether it's worth spending your time. But apparently it's worth it if it's fun and it's kind of treated as your free time and your extracurricular activity that you give your time to. Okay, maybe we can finish off with just a round of suggestions from all of you. If anyone out there is thinking about building their own businesses, or maybe there's some kind of encouraging words, or maybe some tips for you that you would want to share and be like, don't do this, or read a blog, or always have a mentor. Is there like one or two things that you can each go around and share from your side?
Yeah, don't be afraid to experiment, I guess.
I think if somebody wants to start some kind of service agency, you can look into no-code tools. I personally looked. I mean, we offer. We have certain sub brands like Green Pixel, for example. We offer design on demand, design subscription, and no-code development on Webflow. But I myself was completing, it was super exciting. I did it like till 4 a.m. I think, completing some guides, tutorials on Bubble.io. So Bubble is a no-code application that, it's no-code platform allowing you to build applications. Really, really nice. It feels that when I started 2003, PHP developer was kind of a geek, like PHP developer, homeless guy in a sweater, maybe some started to pick up something, but 2000, and like now, no code seems also, well, of course there is enterprise no code in Salesforce, all this Lightning and SAP, but I'm talking about like consumer grade no code. Like if I would start a service agency right now, I myself, because I also started from entry level, for me no code seems really like an entry level, and also it's a very pleasant field to some extent, where you actually need to have a mix of a business analysis, UI, and also some kind of technical mind to deliver, because it's generally cheap solutions, MVP, where it's a one person who just builds it. So for me, it sounds exciting. We ourselves, of course, also will pursue this direction like we do with Webflow, but we, of course, would aim at different segments. Like there are huge, there's huge potential for everybody starting.
Nice, thanks. Jānis?
Probably I will speak in banners, but like the thing is like don't like find proper mentor. Sometimes it will work out, sometimes it will not, but like get it like someone who is from already where you are, and what I said, I would say like specialize, and like no is not bad answer. Like don't be afraid saying no. Like, even in the beginning, like.
Okay, great. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to all of you for participating in this discussion. I don't see any questions from the audience currently. If there are any, you're more than welcome to comment them. But other than that, until we have any comments or questions from the audience, thank you guys for the lovely discussion today.